our program. Let me just also acknowledge our wider audience currently listening in on FM 100 on the NASFUND FM 100 TalkBack Show, officially starting today at the official launch as well. We welcome also our audience also listening in via our streaming service on our website. That's at fm100.com.pg. And those also listening in via our mobile app that's available on Google Play Store as well, on the Kalang FM mobile app as well. Now, to commence our event this morning, let me please call up on stage to open with a word of prayer from the Seventh-day Adventist Church of Sabama. He spends most of his time with our youth and our local people there at Sabama, many in the informal sector, engaging with them, administering to them. And let me please make welcome to give the opening prayer and a word of dedication, Minister Lindsay Kanawi. Morning, Leila. Must also not go from the Mr. Prime Minister and dignitaries and directors and stakeholders and also friends and visitors. Billions in Kanawi, Manus Narabal, who do nothing in Fiji. Prime Minister. You look at face, you look at Facebook, the 80% of people who makes number of this country. We are in the 20%. Just reminding you of this. So on my way, I heard a beautiful statement that was like just put in more introductory home to me. That statement read, say what you mean and mean what you say. Brother Thunder, Team where you meet today, and we read conversation that matters. Before I pray, can I draw your attention to the initial stage where that word conversation was brought into existence? The beginnings of beginning, when God introduced the word conversation. So can I draw your attention to that moment? In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. And God said, let there be light. That was the introduction of the word conversation. So as we converse today, may we draw attention to that moment. That moment becomes the guiding light that will direct us to say what we intend to say for the purpose of how best we can direct, guide, and lead and influence people that we have been called by God to oversee. Let me draw your attention to one analogy from that creative moment. It reads, when God wanted to create fish, when God wanted to create fish, he spoke to the sea. When God wanted to create the tree, he spoke to the soil. But when God wanted to create men and women, he turned to himself. Then he said, let us make men in our own image. That is the introduction of conversation. God created you in his own power, in his own leadership potential, in his own skills, and here you are. And let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the air, and over the cattle, over all the earth, over every creeping things that creeps on the earth. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created him, male and female. He created them. Then God blessed them. And God said to them, be fruitful and multiply. Fill
fill the earth and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the air, over every living thing that moves on earth. Wow. If you take a fish out of the water, it will die. And when you remove a tree from the soil, it also dies. Likewise, when man and woman is disconnected from God, he or she dies. God is our natural environment. We were created to live in His presence. We have to be connected to Him because only with Him life exists. The point is, let us stay connected to God. Let us remember that water without fish is still water. Fish without water is nothing. The soil without the tree is still soil. But the tree without the soil is nothing. God without man is still God. But man or woman without God is nothing. Just as fish, bird, plant, and man cannot outsmart oxygen, so it is also impossible for a fish to outswim water, for a bird to outfly in the sky, for a plant to outgrow the soil. So, human cannot outlive God. Let's stay connected with God. Father, thank you. It gives me this great honor to be standing among greatness. It gives me this humility to see leaders whom you have appointed to oversee the affairs of the fish, affairs of the trees, affairs of our economics in this great land. With my respect to these great leaders, beginning from the Prime Minister down to the stakeholders and citizens who are here, including the ones who are listening today, my humble prayer for this platform is you will open the windows of heaven and rain down the power, the anointing, the healing, and the blessing, so that we together can be molded and be led and be inspired by that blessing. I declare, I pronounce, and I decree your love and your health upon your people and upon this platform today. For this we ask in Jesus' name. May everyone said, Amen. Thank you and God bless.
Thank you very much. With the inspiring message there, Minister Lindsay Kanawi from the Sabama Seventh-day Adventist Church. Again, welcoming our wider audience tuning in on the FM 100 signal and those tuning in on the wider platforms via our website as well as our mobile app. Acknowledging your participation this morning. To start, let me make introductions. I am Kaligan Tanda, the host of the NASFUND FM 100 TalkBack Show. I will be the master ceremony for this morning's launch. In doing so, let me please make a great welcome and appreciation and thanks to our keynote speaker and the Prime Minister of Papua New Guinea and member of the reporting, Honorable James Marape. Also acknowledging in the audience with us this morning as well, the Secretary for Agriculture, Dr. Sergey Ban as well, acknowledging representatives from the Australian High Commission representing His Excellency John Fix. We welcome you to this event. Acknowledging as well the Managing Director for the Investment Promotion Authority, Clarence Hood. Also as well the Managing Director for Climate Change Development Authority, Deborah Sugi, along with the the Managing Director for PNG Forestry Authority, John Mosoro, welcoming you as well. In addition, from the PNG Trade Union Congress, the General Secretary, Anton Sekum, along with the Institute of Directors Representative, Megan Tareka, and among others as well from Paradise Private Hospital, Dr. Chalao, thank you very much, representing our health sector this morning. Also, our proud sponsors, NASFUND CEO Mr. Rajeev Sharma, support that's been going beyond 20 years now, and also as well our Chairman for Telikom Group, Mr. Cedric Rondoke. Invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, and listeners far and wide. It gives me a great opportunity to welcome you to the launch, the 2025 launch of the NASFUND TalkBack Show. Along with the NASFUND TalkBack Show launch, we are also today launching our other programs, including Community Corner, which is in tandem with TalkBack daily from 3 to 4 p.m. in the afternoon. And also, one of our new programs that we started last year with our sister station, Hot 97. Hot 97, our youth station, has started the program called Youth Talkback. A talkback segment aimed at our youth, hosted by our youth, and of course an opportunity for the youth to air out issues that are pressing to them, and at the same time allows for institutions like many that you represent here to push the message out there for our youth to consider. Now, in saying so, today of course marks 50 years as a nation. We started this year not on a good note with the untimely passing of the former Prime Minister, and I think the first National Finance Minister, Sir Julius Chen, who passed away on the 30th of January this year. With that being said, let me please ask for a moment's silence in respect to our former Prime Minister, one of the founders of this great country. Thank you very much. You may be seated. Sir Julius, an iconic figure, unfortunately untimely, as is, paints a picture of Papua New Guinea moving forward. As my dad likes to say, he came from the Stone Age to the computer age, in this case until he decided to retire. As always, we've come in leaps and bounds, and many times development and global trends have actually forced themselves upon the progression of this country and the direction that we're taking. Last year, of course, was not an ideal start, with everyone remembering the January 10th Black Wednesday riots that took place here in the nation's capital. Fortunately, from many lessons that we've learned, we've seen what can come from the ashes and the lessons learned. This year as well, commemorating January 10th, we had National Youth Week. Good to see Marape sitting here with us this morning. Someone spearheading that movement and offering a voice for our youth. Often a frustrated group of Papua New Guineans. Many things happened last year as well. As our theme suggests, conversations that matter, PNG at 50. When it comes to conversations that matter, what have we learned from the past? What are we doing at this stage of our progression, and where are we heading? Hence our theme this year. And of course, when it comes to conversations that matter, IPA, again, Clarence Hood and the team, hosted the first ever Regulator Summit. FM 100 was proud to cover that. In the Regulator Summit, many issues were actually raised particularly. And I found out many things. It was great material for me on TalkBack as well. These are great conversations that address issues and challenges in this country. Also, great things also happen as well. With the forestry sector economic modeling, FSCM, John Mosoro sitting here with us. Again, the creation of DY Holdings as well, we've seen. Trying to put a value on our force as well. And my sincerest apologies, Juma Bani, our chief censor here. You can't have conversations without having certain boundaries in place. Not too restrictive, but conditions that are put in place for the benefit of everyone. For the chief censor, your presence is very much appreciated this morning. With all that being said as well, Dr. Segeban, many great developments happening in the agricultural sector through FBDA as well, and also the creation of our different ministries in our cocoa and oil palm and the different commodity sector as well. Papua New Guinea, definitely. I think it's a vision for the Marape government, implementing MTDP4, moving towards the creation of 1 million jobs, in this case, and of course looking at a 200 billion kina economy. Some great achievements that we strive to. Now, before I start running a TalkBack session like I usually do, it's time for me that I have to take my seat and allow the official welcome to be done by our group chairman, pardon me, our Telikom group chairman, Mr. Cedric Rondoke, and I pray I haven't stolen any of his thunder.
Thank you, Delegate. On behalf of the Telecom Board, the management, and the Telecom group of companies, including the subsidiaries, I also pay our condolences to the late second PM of this country, Sir Jay's family. We are very sorry for losing a great leader of this country who was there from the beginning till last few weeks, where we have seen the whole program throughout. And I also acknowledge the presence of the PM who has been our Prime Minister of this country, who has been through this program and also right up to the burial at this tourist village on behalf of the people of Papua New Guinea. The Prime Minister of Papua New Guinea, the Honorable James Marape, the Chief CEO, the Chief Executive Officer for NASFUND, and our gold sponsor, Rajeev Sharma, the distinguished guests that have been introduced by our MC. I won't go through that. We just need to be careful of one person who is the chief censor here. Let's be careful of what we say and do in this country. He is here now, so I thank you especially. So please don't report about anything bad about Telecom Group. Without further ado, I just want to thank the Prime Minister of our country, the Honorable James Marape, for taking the honors to come and launch our Gold program and all the other programs for Kalang Radio FM 100. Prime Minister, you have been launching our programs for 4 years now. This is the 4th year running, and we are honored to have you as the guest speaker and also for launching our programs in the last 4 years. And we hope that you will continue to do this. Prime Minister, we appreciate your presence and your launching of this prestigious program that we have embarked on many years. It has been running for more than 20 years. NASFUND, of course, have been our golden sponsors for the last 20 years. Prior to that, we have been having these programs, but we never had a consistent sponsor until NASFUND came on board in 2005. Kalang FM radio was part of NBC. I just take you back a little bit of history so you know where we have come and how far we have come. It was part of NBC. In 1982, it was called Radio FM, 2FM. And it was commercialized in 1987. Commercialized in 1982 as a commercial radio station. It was renamed in 1987 as Kalang FM. 1998, it became Telecom's subsidiary. It became Telecom's subsidiary because NBC was renting Telecom towers and they couldn't pay their bills, so the honorable thing was to give us the station. And that's how we settled it, and that's how we got this station. So we were honored to get that radio station, and the rest of it is history. The person who took charge of our TalkBack Show program, as we all know, was none other than our late Roger Alpha. He worked with the NBC, and then when it got separated, he stuck with Kalang Radio FM 100, and this was his program. He started it, he worked on it, he died on the job. And we honor him for taking this program. That is a bit of legacy for Kalang Radio FM 100. We have traveled the distances. We have reached the unreached. We still have more to cover. However, the road that we have come is not easy. We have been trying very hard. A lot of our programs have been enjoyed by so many. And this year is very special. This year is very special because we celebrate 50 years of independence. And our programs for this year will be tailor-made. So that we will ask the public to come and share their views as to where they were, what they were doing, what they think about the journey that we have come. And this will involve our own Prime Minister and some of his cabinet members who will come and share their story as to where they were and what they think about the journey that we have traveled so far. And this includes a lot of our departmental heads, a lot of our senior citizens, and also those people in the villages and in the middle level, the lower level, grassroots level. You will all be given a share to come and share your story on this TalkBack Show program for 2025. With that, I would like to say that this program is going to continue, and I'm hoping that Rajeev and his team at NASFUND will continue with the gold sponsorship for the next 50 years. Without further ado, I thank you all for coming to the launch of our TalkBack Radio program for 2025. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rondoke, Chairman of Telikom PNG Limited Group, in saying, thank you for taking us on that trip down history, where we now realize that Telikom, FM 100 was collateral in a debt that had to be paid. In any case, with that being said, of course, through NBC, with NBC, I think it's great to see the work that our information communication technology minister, the Honorable Timothy Masio, unfortunately sends his apologies. He was supposed to be here today. See the work that's being done in the ICT sector, massive investments as well going into NBC. Now seeing them move from the analog to digital. We're happy to see a state and feel like that moving forward in this digital age. Also for us at FM 100, we'd love some support as well. In any case, as we strive to move towards our digital platforms too as well. Now, of course, the TalkBack Show would not be possible, and as we keep acknowledging our sponsors. Apart from that, let me just congratulate NASFUND too as well on the recent the launch of the NAS Talk. I really enjoyed that publication that's come out as well. Information is key. Financial literacy is something most Papua New Guineans need to be equipped with. Many times, with many public servants and many Papua New Guineans in the private sector, when they once reach the retirement age or decide to actually retire, many times the retirement savings in their super funds are unfortunately not managed well in their retirement in this case. And I've seen many relatives of mine that have actually done that and are in that predicament. And for constant awareness, particularly on financial literacy, I think is quite important. And it's great to see NASFUND taking a lead in that. Plus, an area of services that you can also benefit from. So always take your NASFUND card whenever you're going to your nearest brand outlet when they're having a sale. There's always a great discount. It's saying so. Now to tell us more about, not so much NASFUND, but about the partnership that we forged with them over the 2 decades, I'd like to call up our next speaker, the CEO of NASFUND, and a good friend on TalkBack, Mr. Rajeev Sharma.
Honorable Prime Minister James Marape, Chairman of Telikom Mr. Cedric Rondoke, Board of Telikom and Board of Kalang Advertising, and our MC and good friend who is always there to help us out, Kaligan. And last year we did about 9 such events at TalkBack Show. On the Fridays we were there with me or our management team. And last year we also used them 3 times to cover our conferences, one in Leh, one in Kokopo, and one in Hagen. So that was for the first time. So thank you very much for that. So it's absolutely an honor to address you all today, to embark on this exciting journey together. As the major sponsor, NASFUND is proud to support this initiative, which aligns perfectly with our shared vision of Papua New Guinea's future. This year marks a significant milestone in our nation's history. It's our 50th anniversary. The government's theme, Celebrate History, Inspire Our Future, resonates deeply with us. It is a time to reflect on our rich heritage, acknowledge the progress we have made, and look forward to the possibilities which lies ahead. FM 100's theme, PNG at 50, Conversations That Matter, underscores the vital role of dialogue in shaping our nation's future. Indeed, dialogue has always been part of who and what Papua New Guinea is. In the absence of having a formal writing system, PNG had an oral tradition in which our diverse cultures, customs, and tradition and tribal histories have been passed down from generations, and that even today are embedded in our way of living. Our ancestors sat around campfires, holding kibungs to encourage dialogue on tribal knowledge to the next generation. Today, fostering meaningful discussions, we can and have collaboratively addressed challenges while highlighting achievements that inspire and pride in our identity as Papua New Guineans. NASFUND understands this very well and is proud to fuel the modern day campfire in FM 100's TalkBack Show. At NASFUND, our theme, Ready for Tomorrow, emphasizes our commitment to preparing for the future. We believe that by investing in our people and fostering a culture of continuous improvement, we can build a stronger and more resilient nation. Papua New Guinea has made a significant stride over the past decades. In terms of GDP, we have been growing on an average 3 to 4%, and it has grown significantly over the last 3 to 4 years. It is well below 125 to 107 billion Guinea now, great achievement in the present economic conditions. So we all are in an economy which is growing, and that's a great news for us all to thrive on. NASFUND has played a crucial role in securing the financial future of its membership. With over 700,000 members and total assets exceeding 800 billion, NASFUND continues to provide a reliable and robust superannuation service. The average balance has grown significantly, demonstrating the effectiveness of our investment strategies and importance of regular contributions. Saving for retirement is not just about securing your future. It's about ensuring a financial independence and peace of mind. By prioritizing your superannuation and taking advantage of compound interest, which is often referred as eighth wonder of the world, you can build a substantial nest egg that will support you in retirement age. For example, if you are a 25-year-old earning just 25,000 kina per annum, and at an assumed rate of 5% per annum return. And if you keep contributing only at the rate of 14.4%, I'm assuming there is not going to be any increase in your earnings. You would be surprised that if you continue to do that, at the age of 60, you will have 350,000 kina in your bank account. And out of that 350,000 kina, 130 will be your contribution, and rest 220,000 will be interest and interest on interest, which is called eighth wonder of the world, that is compounding interest. So what is important is we should contribute regularly. There has to be discipline about contribution. We should not withdraw because this money is meant for retirement. The FM TalkBack Show will serve as a platform for open and honest conversations about the issues that matter most to our community. It will provide a space for diverse voices to be heard and for solutions to be explored. We are confident that this show will inspire positive change and contribute to the development of our nation. As we celebrate this historic milestone, let us remember the values that have brought us this far: unity, resilience, and a shared vision for a brighter future. Together we can continue to build a Papua New Guinea that we all can be proud of. Thank you very much.
Coincidentally, when we talk about conversations that matter, I keep saying this over and over again. We live in the age of information. There is a surplus of information trending that's available at the fingertips through mobile devices, for that matter. And many times the conversations get misconstrued. Funnily enough, last year, during an interview that was conducted on the TalkBack Show, we had a former Prime Minister insinuate something about conditions that were placed by our current government. Now, even though it was a lengthy interview that took place, a small snippet was actually cut out. And that was circulated on social media. Unfortunately, it featured the back of my head in it with my voice. So I was called and asked repeatedly about this. And the propaganda that goes behind it, people do not realize the impact of that propaganda that goes on if facts aren't properly established and angles and narratives get misconstrued in this case. This actually prompted Rajeev and the team to make an appearance on the TalkBack Show to actually clarify the issue here. So this day and age is the age of spin, I'd say sometimes. There are too many spin doctors out there. I don't know how much they get paid. But many times, many great initiatives are often misconstrued with an underlying intent that's there. Many times, it is malice, many times to score political points, many times to undermine an authority that's in place. I'm not just speaking with what's happening at the government, but also in respective industries and respective organizations. And again, these are conversations that matter. It's quite important that facts should matter too as well. Also, let me just also acknowledge our sister television station, MTV, also carrying this live. Silas Matoli, our acting managing director, thank you very much for the support. Also as well, our other sponsor, PSP Kilitambua, also in the building with us. Thank you so much. We now proceed to the main event, and again, thankfully this is a very short event with now the keynote address to be given by our guest of honor, Honorable Prime Minister for the Independent State of Papua New Guinea, celebrating 50 years as a nation, the Honorable James Marape.
4 years on, we are facing our nation's 50th, and each and every one of us have a role to play in the construct of our country's future. I want to say thank you to the sponsors of FM 100 TalkBack, who continues to sponsor this event, our friends at NASFUND, our friends at BSP, our friends at and all the associated family of sponsors. Thank you very much for rallying behind Telikom, the mother company, and ensuring that this talk lives on or goes on. Cedric, Chairman Rondoke and your team at Telikom, thank you very much. I do apologize for rescheduling this to today, and thank you for your considerations. I was en route to That's one of those places that is still unconnected by road, so to speak, called Gasmata in Western Britain. Hands up, any one of you who's been to Gasmata. We hope the radio waves transmit our conversations to these sort of places. The road is still unconnected to almost 60% of our population as I speak. All modern connectivities and infrastructures are still not yet within reach of our people. I overnighted at Gasmata. I spent Saturday in a simple church, and my heart continues to yearn for those who have been left behind on the side as we continue to march on 50 years going forward. I want to appreciate the pastor who outlaid to us some thought-provoking conversations before he prayed. Thank you very much, Pastor Lindsay, for those kind words. Ladies and gentlemen, we face 50 years of our nationhood. Radio has played an important anchorage to ensure our country is informed correctly on what is happening elsewhere. Long before there was a TV station, long before there was these modern ICT platforms that remit conversations real time, quick time, and sometimes blend with all the fake that associated with all these conversations. Last night, someone showed me a AI-driven animation where they put me and my colleague cabinet member standing together, and they were having a fist fight with me, kickboxing with me. We live in this world, and I just want to say to the listeners, faithful listeners of FM 100, you're not listening to fake news, you're not listening to all this that goes on in this day and age. You are listening to substantial information that is conveyed to you, and so keep on listening to FM 100, and I want to encourage FM 100. You have an important role in being amongst the anchor of good news, real news, good news and real news. And the real news means every news that is actually substantial happening in our country. I want to continue to encourage you. Be in the ears of our people. I want to thank FM 100, Callaghan, yourself. A little conversation on setting a specific program for the youths, and you have went ahead, and I am coming a little bit slow behind you. And so I just want to thank yourself. Now the program for our youths, to all our youths out there in our country, you're not fatherless, you're not motherless, you're not countryless, you're not godless. You have a father, you have a mother, you have a country, and you have a God. You're an important person, created in the image of God. I read Psalms 139, verses 13, 14, 15, 16 onwards. God says exactly that He knew you before you were created. You were not around when your parents decided to meet them. I'm sorry, I'm speaking to the audience who are listening out there. To the youths, you're not around when your parents decided to meet, but your parents met. You, at the exact moment for your conception, God already ordained you as a living person. So to all our youths of our country, as we straddle our 50th anniversary this year, I want to tell you we have you in our foresight. Every program we engage upon is really for the youths, because they live today and they are the future. For some of us, we are living today and we are the past. As pasts cannot be relieved, we pay respect, and thank you FM 100 for giving respect to Sir Julius. I was part of the crowd that witnessed him descending for the last time to be rested in his beloved Holy Spirits. There's a time coming upon each and every one of us. Before I stepped in here, I was meeting Prime Minister's department and asking them to report to me on what they have done the last year. The next 2-3 weeks, every ministers and department heads are accounting to the country exactly what we achieved last year. And in the context of what my government has wanted since May 30th, 2019, I've sent a strong word to all department heads and the ministers. We're not passing through time earning salaries to do little. We're passing through time occupying these offices to achieve maximum results for our country, because we have no time to waste. The past cannot be relived, but we must all save the future. And in this context, I want to appreciate FM 100. This year is our 50th. We are celebrating our 50th. Next year, from September 16th this year to September 16th or September 15th next year, we'll be living through our 50th. Bible has a model already put in place. If you read Leviticus chapter 25, it talks about a 49-year period. As we enter 50th, there's a reconstruct and a reset, assessment on how we've come and a reset. I never knew I'll be Prime Minister in 1975. I was in one of the remotest part of the country called Norman River when we were celebrating independence. Don't ask me how old I was, but I was conscious. I was conscious. I was a bit transparent. I was 4 years old. I was 4 years old. I was awake to the drum beats, to the conversation on independence in 1975. I have traveled with this country since 1975, not knowing I'll be Prime Minister in 2025. When I resigned from the O'Neill government in 2019, I never resigned to be Prime Minister. I just resigned out of frustration. The set of things I felt need to be done was not happening the right way. And today I am charging all my public servants that 6 years on, I expect results from all those pronouncements we made. And they're accounting for themselves and to the country as to what we have collectively done. I want from 100 to hold all of us to account. You are the voice of accountability in our society. And not just FM 100, but to all our media outlets. You all know, 6 years on, I've never tampered with the editorials. I've never, even MTV, a government-owned TV station, FM 100, a government-owned radio station, NBC, a government-owned, James Marape and the Pango party that I lead, never tamper with editorials in the newsrooms. That is simply out of our respect that news stations must be free of interference so that you remain the fourth voice, advocating correctly on what is happening in society. And so if 6 years on we have respected you, we likewise ask you to take your responsibility correctly and seriously and make sure correct news and good news. I repeat this too again in my closing. Correct news and good news must be uttered to our country. Our people needs these two levels of news to be disseminated properly from proper media and not social media. You have an important anchor role as we come to this year where we want to recollect our past so that we inspire our future. I ask everyone to be the lead voice every day, not just the sense of TalkBack program hours, but just in everyday conversations from the microphone. You author positive news to the people and make sure that the people are pointed to the right directions. I want to thank government officials who are here, secretaries and heads of department, the many programs we have that is unfortunately unheard by our people. As a sister of mine, Narai, she says outside. She's also here, I recognize her, and I want to thank her. The team, they've hit a call for getting a youth out, and they started to mobilize a youth with their own initiative. The youth came, I was in the first launch. Most do not know, we have second chance education opportunity now available. We have overseas work program now available for those who want to pursue this. We have SME programs available for those who want to pursue SME. We have districts and provinces who are now funded with the ability to assist the youth in our society. And the youths out there running around lost, Mr. Tanda and the team at FM 100. I want youth program to be partnered in a big way. So we channel all of them into the paths they should pursue, whether it's sports, whether it's business, whether it's employment, self-employment, or re-education. FM 100 must see that your business is ready to save the future, and the future is the youth. Thank you for giving a program for the youth, and that's also participating in this space. Thank you, each and every one, to the directors, to the board, to the management. You've done well anchoring our country thus far, and I look forward to NASFUND partnering for the next 50 years. Next 50 coming out. 50. In the 50, I want to assist shape the next 20. I will not be Prime Minister for the next 20 years. I meaning our generation. I look to this room and I see those of you who say my generation. The next 20 is our years to save. next 20 we lose it, we will lose this country. The next 20 we work correctly, we will save this country and use prosperity. Important 20 years coming up for our country. Where were you 20 years ago? When was 20 years ago? 20 years ago was 2005. 20 years ago was 2005. And, you were alive 2005. I pray that all of you are alive 2045. It's just that 20 years, just like from 2005 to 2025, feels so fast. My sister Megan, am I correct? We were playing golf 2005, we're still playing golf today. And so we'll be playing golf 2045. Time flies, but in the flight of time, let's not squander and waste. In the flight of time, let's channel possibility so that youths in 2045 are living in a better country than what we're living today. God bless. I want to declare this year's FM 100 TalkBack open. Thank you, NASFUND. Thank you, BSV. You two are biggest institutions in our country, so let's go big this year. Thank you very much.
Also, again, with the theme, Conversations That Matter, we've seen many different forums that have come up over the years, annual ones, in fact. Can Connect PNG Core, I think got a representative, Mayor Batolo here. Thank you very much for that partnership that we had, carrying some of the major conversations. And of course, one key feature of Can Connect's last year was seeing the ABG President Ismail Tarama actually make a presentation there as well. Many stories, developments happening for our people in the autonomous region of Bougainville. Also as well, some of the investments of the government coming big in the health sector. We had the reopening of the cancer lab at the cancer hospital in Angao. And again, many thanks to Kumo Petroleum Holdings and the Kumo Consolidated Group, Luke Liria. With us this morning, the Executive General Manager for Corporate Affairs. Again, Mr. Liria, wonderful work that you're doing in the health space, and it's something that's going to save many Papua New Guinean lives, as you've said many times in the different interviews and talks that we've had. Thank you very much for your commitment to Papua New Guinea. And also, as well, one of the key highlights which the Prime Minister hinted that we might see this year would be Connect PNG. Again, the whole of Papua New Guinea being linked up as such. And we at FM 100, very fortunate and proud to have a partnership with the Department of Works. Mr. Sylvester Pai here representing Secretary Rollenbach. Thank you very much for your support this year. We're looking forward to a big one this year as we celebrate our 50th. Now, it is time for our Q&A session, firstly with the Prime Minister. As I mentioned, it's a panel discussion with the Prime Minister, and I think either one of our panelists can feel free to be part of the discussion. If I could just have the extra mic up on stage. And just 5 questions we'd like to pose to the panel and to the Prime Minister as well. Now, first question, and these were questions that were sent through by our VIPs and our members of the panel. Some who couldn't make it with us this morning. Now, question 1, I think the first 2 questions, particularly on superannuation sector, for the obvious reasons. Now, Prime Minister, why is there no superannuation coverage for Papua New Guinea for everyone? Is that a possibility later on?
All right, thank you, Captain. Once again, superannuation right now by law, it's really those who are contributing the employers. That's a contribution. I think NASFUND is moving in a way we're opening up for SME contributors. Government right now looking at policy for those who are willing contributors themselves. How can we match through programs? So that policy is being tailored as we speak. And so if you contribute and save, then how can government also complement your contribution at a percentage that is that commensurates where you are contributing? And encouragement to Papua New Guineans to step out to also willingly save for the future for those who can same. We've been lucky thus far that our one-talk system has covered us thus far. But as we move into contemporary lifestyle, where especially in the urban setting, someone is working his entire life, or someone has been living in the city doing SMEs his entire life, in the sunset of our lives, find it hard to settle back in the villages, or we may be distant in the future from our one-talk system coverage. We do encourage Papuans to think about saving for life after active life, and government is tailoring a policy to see whether we could match those who voluntarily save themselves.
Thank you very much. Rajeev, do you want to add anything in there?
Thank you very much, Prime Minister. That would really be a welcome move. Currently, as per legislation, employers who have minimum of 15, they contribute. Less than 15, they don't contribute. That is something area which we work on. And last year we had more than 300 employers who has got number of employees less than 15. They have joined the funds. So definitely it is happening, not compulsory, not mandatory. It is just because of the education and information we share. But what Prime Minister just now alluded, that is going to be a welcome move, and it is going to change, revolutionize the whole industry, the way we take over renovation. At this time, I would like to take opportunity to thank Prime Minister. In this budget, they have given 2% tax, which was there when you exit at the age of 55 after completing your retirement age. So government has made it 0% tax. So this really supports. Thank you very much.
I'll re-emphasize that. For the first time now, we remove tax from those who get exit. And just part of some of this help we give in the economy, and so you don't pay tax. What we've announced also is that we're looking at this policy. If you're pulling out the SME guy, or individual guy out there, you're sitting with Mama or Papa sales market, you deposit into a NASFUND, and your deposit taking in, government's looking at a policy, we can match that. This to encourage savings. I've seen many elderlies who are running around broke in their own country. They may have been active very early on, they support the tribe and everybody else, but when they're in their 60s and 70s, no one grants to them. And so this, we'll tell them this so that it's not an ATM for you to withdraw in your senior years. It's something that you could draw until you God calls you to rest. So that policy will be developed, and we want to also announce this.
Well, that's being sorted out. Also wanted to ask as well, for the Marape Russell government, is it still pursuing an appetite for economic reform with the proposed reforms in the central bank and superannuation sector seems to have slowed down? Phase 2 of the central bank Act review has not been published as yet. Any reasons to this?
That is an ongoing work, Calicut, as we speak. Central bank's independence must be preserved. We don't intend to encroach into the space, but how can they become an active player in the economy and working in partnership with a super fund? So it's a major part of our architecture that we are looking at, and again, part of the reform packages that will go beyond 50 years of nationhood. So far, so good. The independence have withstood the test of time. Mekere Morata did entrench the independence, but I believe there's a role for them to participate more greater in the economy, and we've asked them to, we're working with them to look into that space.
For the third question would be, with much needed exports to build up our reserves, our reserves as such, and also to build up on our exports. Regarding one of the key projects, Papua LNG project, it has been delayed for a while. If you could explain as to the delay.
All right, thank you, Callaghan. Even with the Papua LNG delay, you ask my brother sitting on my left, he will tell you 2023, a record high new membership, 34,415, if I'm not wrong. 34,415 new members in 2023. I look forward to the numbers again for 2024. He's telling me declarations they will soon making over 10%. The last time we've seen over 10% was almost 10 years ago, if I'm not wrong. And now there is an indication that there's activity happening in the economy, even without Papua LNG. Even without Papua LNG. Our focus on non-extractive sector resource is starting to bear results. For the last 4 years now, for the first time in our nation's history, we post about 4% growth in the non-resource sector. Some people were thinking I was stupid when I divided agriculture minister into 4 ministries. We were targeting production in these key export sectors: oil palm, coffee, cacao, our exportable products. So, the ship is turning around in the right direction. To turn around a big ship in the right direction, you can make a 90-degree turn ASAP. Those who belong to the maritime area, those who like tanim niklik, kanu you must not tanim Marape, you must easy tanim, no play capsule or somewhere. Big Placano was PNG, but easy tanim nana. It is close to the same to the right area. In terms of reserve, even without Papua LNG, we've had, for the first time now, we've hit past $4 billion worth of reserve we maintain. And currently, right now, we have 18 months of forex supply. 18 months of forex supply. The result of allowing Kenya to free flow the market is for Kenya to find its right value. So those who hold dollars outside can bring it back into the market, like the exporters. They want to bring back Kenya to the market when Kenya is at the right value. Of course, there's an effect on those who are importing, and that fine balance will be found. But right now, we have over $4 billion in our forex, the Treasury and Central Bank. They've been maintaining that for the last almost 2 years now, the highest ever in the nation's history. Papua LNG will come on at the end of the year. They'll be announcing FID. I went to Davos. I met the CEO of Total, and also the CEO of ExxonMobil. They did indicate to me they're working together. The cost blowout. The first tender went out for the EPC contractors to construct the project. The cost came in at $18 billion. The project was modeled at a $12 billion construction cost. So with that, if we tendered again, they hope to bring the cost down, because the cost has a direct correlation to IRR of the project. And so that is being worked upon. We hope by the end of this year they announce FID. When FID is announced, some are good news. We're sequencing Papua, PNG in the petroleum sector, so you will have construction life almost 6 to 7 years of construction after FID in Papua. So I did ask ExxonMobil CEO that they don't bring in PNG early, they sequence Papua construction, then PNG construction. So we expect about 6 to 7, 8 years of construction life from oil and gas sector. Later in this quarter, we will cross the line in Wafi-Golpu. All these things put together, including our small Pasca project, Pasca A1 project, all this put together, we expect over $20 to $25 billion worth of construction activities in our country for the next 10 years. So this will be sequenced, and I want to tell our country we're in a good spot at the right time. Those of you in the financial sector, those of you in the SME sector, prepare yourselves. Don't be left behind when these projects come in. I'm forward all of you, these projects coming ahead.
Thank you very much, Prime Minister. And of course, when it comes to our state-owned entities, now, what is the operational vision for PNG Power Limited looking forward when the mention of partial privatization has come about? What does that actually look like in practice for PNG Power?
PNG Power, Telecom, and all our state enterprises, we are entertaining the thought of partial privatization. We've been running it so long through the public service modus operandi. We must change now 50 years on. The environment in 1975 when they were set up is different from the environment in 2025. In 1975, it was more public service oriented, service to our people. In 2025, it's business to the country. Power is key, telecom is key, and everything is key. I think there's a room for private sector coming in to run the management, and we benefit from the service and dividend. The model is simply the Marape model in BSP. Marape model in BSP is clearance. We don't need to go for Harvard to do rocket science studies. Marape farmed out PNG, a smaller company in BSP then took over management. We were reduced to equity holders. Today, BSP equity pays more back to the state than even Telecom as a monopoly pays, or PNG Power as a monopoly pays. There's a space for partial privatization. Minister Duma has been instructed already. We retain 51%. The private partner holds 49%, similar to the program model. They will be given the management. So Minister Duma's team is working on a template for expression of interest. We call out anyone out there, whether you are a southern investor, a western investor, or a northern investor, or eastern investor, or anyone locally, an opportunity for our super fund partners. Our super fund sitting here, a domestic consortium of our super funds pulling together. And you take 49, you take management, you take control of the board, we become passive participant, and we beneficiary of service, and we beneficiary of dividend that is returned. So 51-49% split, with management right going to the 49% holder of the joint venture.
Thank you very much. Mr. Rondoke, would you like to add anything on?
Yes, thank you, Kaligan. I think with the public-private partnership, a lot of the organizations that we've had, PPL, Telecom, as the Prime Minister rightfully said, they are public service oriented. For someone like me coming from the private sector, I could see that in terms of the work ethics, the way things were being worked at, the way I saw it, and it speaks the language of public service mentality, and we've got to change that. Even though by name we say Telecom, PPL, or any of the state-owned enterprises or private companies, the way it operates, it does not operate like a private company, working on time, being there when it really matters, getting the job done on time, working on deadlines. Those are things that really affect a lot of the SOEs. I have seen it at Telecom. I have done everything we could with my board. There has been a lot of restructure going on. There is one restructure we would like to do, and we are still holding back on it because Telecom has gone through a lot of changes in the last 10 years. The big one that we have done is the merger between B-Mobile and Telecom. Before we were separated, now we are put back into it again. So you can imagine that there's a lot of people in the organization, and these are Papua New Guineans I'm talking about. You know, there's something that we need to do differently as individuals. You know, this is a 50-year running. We now need to change the culture of not only Telecom but all the state-owned enterprises. Then I think we will see a lot of changes in all the organizations.
Carl, 50-year reset. Think about it. Just talk about it. 50-year reset. Let us reset. We'll reset the button, the frequency.
Finally, Prime Minister, regarding the 1.4 billion Kina loan that the public government received from the Australian government, in regards to this, does it spell something about our cash flow in the country, and was it captured in our 2025 budget?
All right, thank you. It's within our 3.3% deficit of last year. You remember, and all of you, those of you commentators in the economic space, our report on our budgetings are clearly in our final budget outcomes. So if you Google in www.treasury.gov.pg and you write in final budget outcomes, you will see all the statistics. We in a fiscal, I want to give assurance to our country, we're in a fiscal consolidation path. That means our target to come and hit a balanced budget, if not a modest surplus in 2027, is on target consistently for the last 5 years. We had a high of over 8% in 2020. All of you know what happened in 2020. COVID-19 affected global economies. Most countries globally, when the deficit went above 10%, we maintained below 10%, at a high 8%. We've now scaled down. So So that's 2020 at 8%. If you ask me what was the statistics at 2022, we were around 5.3%, if I'm not wrong. 2023, we were 3.4, if I'm not wrong. Not 3.4, 4.3. Last year, we were 3.3. So that Australian financing is within the 2024 money plan, part of our 3.3 deficit element. So it's not something new, doesn't aggregate our debt unplanned within the money plan for last year. It's concession, by the way. Concession means grace period and a 4% interest rate, 20-year repayment.
Thank you very much. For the panel discussion, it is now time for the media opportunity, where we give an opportunity to our media in attendance today, as well as some of our VIPs that are here as such. And in this regard, I'll be surrendering the mic as a roving mic for our friends from the media and, of course, our invited guests today. If there are any questions, please raise your hand and we'll bring the mic over. No questions? Looks like they're letting you off the hook this easy, Prime Minister. Oh, we got one question at the back.
I'm lucky.
Zara from the National. This is directed to the Prime Minister. In regard to department heads and jurisdictions set for acting positions and where they're supposed to be appointed to confirmed, most will be acting on the position for almost 3 months, which is 100 days in office. There are certain department heads and in regard to some of our disciplinary forces also still on acting positions. When does NEC deliberate or confirm on positions given? Because is it the complexity of the recruitment process, or are there some agencies that, because some agencies will require urgent filling due to the agency, just say, for example, the correctional service plays a very important role in the judicial system, and for a commissioner to be on active position for almost 100 days, when does NEC deliberate on some of these positions? Because we have some departmental heads, so yeah, still acting on a position, even some like in 2 years. So can you just give an answer on this?
Good question, Zara. I want to put it back to the process. Sometimes the public service appointment process takes time. I said the same for Senate. We instructed them to be expeditious. And this year, part of our conversation in our 50th year will be reforming the entire public service process also. It's the movement between papers, between DPM, PSC, and cabinet sometimes is lengthy. But certainly, acting appointments run for 3 months, and permanent appointments will be made at the very earliest, if not another reappointment as an acting on an acting basis. So I'll take the question seriously. We'll get back to the public service people to be expeditious in those that are outstanding.
Thank you. Any more questions? One from Dr. Bali.
Thank you, Mr. Tanda. Thank you, Prime Minister, for the opportunity in the Indian Term Plan 4 from 2023 to 2027, 2030. The National Agriculture Sector Plan is up to from 2024 to 2033, aligned to the Indian Term Plan 4. In that the agriculture sector has to contribute 30 billion to the GDP by 2030 and create 1 million jobs. It does mean, Prime Minister, that the production in agriculture has to increase 4 times or more, whether it's fruit and vegetables, whether it's livestock, coffee, and so on. I would like to ask if it is possible that the government can reduce the import tax on agricultural supply inputs for our farmers, particularly subsidy for fertilizer, for agricultural chemicals, and farm machinery, irrigation systems, and so on. A tax duty means that the retail price that the farmer has to pay for a bag of fertilizer, chemicals, and so on is going up, and the cost of production itself. And so therefore the production itself remains stagnant. It's my strong belief that if the government removes this import tax, then the production itself will increase because farmers can now be able to more afford. So thank you.
All right, thank you, Secretary. Look forward to your submission to Cabinet, and please work on this. It's a good submission. But having said this, using this question as a way of reflection, one of the greatest gifts the fathers of our Constitution, including St. Julius, which has passed, has gifted our country, is the non-alienation of land from our people. In many countries in the world, land has already been alienated from the people. We have land still as our prime possession. So we're not poor for our status. It's just that we are cashless. In terms of asset, every citizen in our country has asset. We have land to start off with. It's only those who are second or third generation urbanites who may not claim that right. But those of us who still have access to our tribal land, you have asset that many global citizens don't have. And so it is in our interest. We've seen which is the earliest sector to get people to be productive. That is the agriculture sector. From coffee today, I've had my first cup. It's just all my 7th and 20th church members, but I will confess, I work 18 hours a day, and I need something to keep me working the next day. And so, if I go to hell for this one, I'm ready to go to hell for the sake of my country. So, the point I'm trying to make is, by the end of today, when I'm finishing work at around, say, the last coffee I think is maybe at 7, 8 o'clock to keep me going to 12 in the night. By the end of today, I would have drunk 3, if not 4 cups of coffee. Locally speaking, one average cup is around $4 now, Starbucks. So people must grow coffee. They don't grow coffees in China or USA or Europe. I was in Davos, every person in Davos was drinking 3, 4 cups of coffee before even the lunch hour session. And so, Mr. Agricultural Secretary, your recommendations in order. Our land can produce coffee, cacao, vanilla, palm oil, everything for our people. It's about you and me unlocking those impediments, bringing market closer to people, paying them the right price, and we export outside and bring the earnings back into our country. The key steps and formula, if we have one of these, our people will have forever money in their pockets.
Thank you very much. We'll take one last question from Mr. Sego.
Thank you, Prime Minister. I think it's just on behalf of the constituent that we represent, minimum wage. I know the business community doesn't like it, but that's a reality. And labor force survey first to be conducted in Papua New Guinea to understand the construct of the labor market that we have. We never know. We never have any statistics that educate us as to what construct is like. It's a target of the government amongst the other priorities of the government to achieve the 1 million job creation target. For us, unfortunately, I think we're dragging behind in terms of allocation of funds to get those major, two important agendas going. Prime Minister, I sort of appeal to you at this opportunity to ensure that those 2 key agents of government gets rolling. Minimum wage was given a 100-day target to be achieved. It's still dragging behind. Labor market, labor force survey is also dragging behind because of labor funding. So I'm put to you as the head of government to look at that and expedite the process so that we know that September 16th we all celebrate the outcomes of those two key agendas for the coming day.
All right, thank you, General Secretary. I want to announce to our country that the minimum wage board has been convened. The last time they had a formal proper meeting was 2014 or 15. So we've picked it up. I want to commend Minister the Honorable Kesi Sama. She's got a deep interest in this, and she's been also asked to allow it to be completed. To our employer federations, I want to say we have some good news for you also. Support the process. We'll find a fine balance. Let's support minimum wage increase. I think 3.50 has been there for a long time. Adjusted based on CPI adjustments. And I know exactly where the trading point is. To the employers, you assist us, elevate matching this with basically a baseline CPI adjustment rate. Once that is elevated, to the employers will come good to you. I don't intend to tell you what the good is, but you assist the process. It's a tripartite process. Let's support the bid to increase minimum wage, and that's a good thing for the employers. I will create some place. I'll just say.
Thank you very much. That concludes our media opportunity. As such, let me also make some acknowledgements as well. Representing our Minister for Justice and Attorney General, Honorable Pilanegi, I'd just like to acknowledge Secretary Thelma Ninchpa here, as well representing soon to be knighted, I believe. Our Minister of Justice and Attorney General as well. Also, let me also acknowledge, we were talking about agriculture and land, one of the key things here. Let me also acknowledge the Land Commission of Papua New Guinea, newly created one, to Chief Commissioner Olin Kilopak, the first entity that actually from last year has come on board this year to support our new TalkBack. So thank you so much to the Land Commission of Papua New Guinea. Acknowledgements there. As we come towards the cutting of the cake program, let me also acknowledge our listeners out there that participate on a regular basis in this case, and those that always have their piece, and many times they come by pseudonyms. They go on here through their respective pseudonyms and nicknames. Some I've kind of worked out over there. The others are still a mystery to me. Let me acknowledge, of course, Ivan from Gordon's for tuning in this morning, my brother. Thank you so much for always participating as well. Frank Talk from Gerahu, Sunny from Sugeri, Jacob Pom, and Kenneth Moka, one of our regulars who always calls up. Someone always talks about the importance of instilling values in kids in schools, for that matter, and especially instilling the biblical principles. So Kenneth, recognizing you on this day. Also, others from downtown, Peter from Ley on Malahang Road, one of our regular contributors, and Stephen from Merima, one of our critical ones, I'd say. And also, we take time to acknowledge those two very important voices that we've lost on TalkBack last year. We pay tribute to the late Manu Bola, a regular of TalkBack. We take time to acknowledge his contributions and the sad fact that he will not be with us this year, giving his commentary on our regular TalkBack show. Secondly, acknowledging the late Chief Valentine Kambori as well, someone who always rang up to give his piece on the government, on the country, on the economy itself. A treasured Papua New Guinean, and we as a nation are poorer for having lost him as well. So our thoughts going out to these two distinguished gentlemen who've been voices on TalkBack over the years. Just making that acknowledgement to them today. Thank you. Without further ado, I would like to ask the cake to be brought in.
We remember those who came before us in FM100 as well as in our country, including those who just passed. And we also want to appreciate the present leadership. I look forward to another successful year, especially important milestone year as we march towards our 50th. May you inspire the future as we recollect our past. Congratulations FM 100, congratulations NASFUND, BS3, Telikom, and all the family of sponsors for your continued partnership.